accomplish it when it's easy, right? You accomplish these little easy feats and these easy feats. And it also reminds me of something Trevor Noah said, because when he got the Daily Show, I was like, yo, is this your legacy? He was like, I can't think about legacy right now. I'm just getting started.
Right.
I think I just can, he said, I like to hike. And I also like to hike. There's a big giant picture on my wall.
Man, I've gotten into it the last few months. It like literally refreshes me. You know, it feels good to have that solitude.
Yeah, when you hike, you got to take it one step at a time, because if you're looking too far, you'll trip and you'll fall. You might fall down that hill.
Yeah.
So you take it one step at a time, one step at a time. And what Trevor Noah said is that once you get to the top, that's when you finally look up and look out and you see everything. And then what's behind you, that'll be a legacy. And I think that's really the space that I'm in, is just like, okay, what did I leave behind me? And then, okay, I take that in, I experience that for a moment. You got to be present. And then what do I have ahead of me? And you take all of that, and then that what combined could be a legacy.
So that kind of leads me to the next question is, what do you feel to this point, you know, based off of your initial start and to what you've done now, what do you think stands out as, you know, as far as your legacy at this moment? You know, I don't want to put a cap on it, but what do you think speaks to your legacy in today, 2021?
I don't know. I'm not done. My story ain't done. Nobody know. You know, people still don't know who I am. So the story ain't done. So my legacy is what it is. People will make their own story about me. I'm not worried about what people say my legacy is or what my legacy is and it isn't. Somebody told me if you want to get love, you got to give it. In order to give it, you got to get it. In order to get it, you got to give it. So I just been trying to show love, man. Like that's it. Yeah, man. I've been in this space of just like growth, and I think the more I focus on me, like you control your destiny, right? You earn everything you get. You earn, right? You earn everything you get, and people can say whatever they want, but it's you. So. You can't take, you gotta know who you are. Like, because if you believe the good things they say about you, then you'll believe the bad things they say about you. So you just gotta know who you are. And I'm lucky and I'm blessed. I'm lucky and I'm blessed that I know who I am. So, you know, I take that into consideration in everything I do, you know?
Okay. You know, I don't know if y'all got a question. Like, who has been in your eyes, the one eye-opening person that has consumed your work, you know, because like you said, a lot of people don't know who you are, but I'm sure there's been somebody who has consumed you or has reached out to you over the years where you're like, oh, wow, you are a fan or somebody who consumes my work. Because like you said, you've had a staple in a footprint. Man.
So this is a great story. It's been a lot of people. A lot of people have seen my work. So I'm lucky for that. To put one person on it, I just would share this story. I was in the airport. Like I meet a lot of people, and I don't know if you guys noticed, I don't really take photos with people like that. There's no like, hey, this is me and such and such photo together.
We working.
And it'd be after the event. You'd be like, oh yeah, I was here too.
Normally it's candid. Like I got this great photo of me and Oprah. I'm just in the background, so I like candid photos. Anyway,
awesome.
So I'm in the airport, and I'm chilling, and I look up, and I'm like, oh shit, that's Andre 3000.
Oh shoot.
So I'm like, damn. So I'm sitting here and I'm just chilling. I'm like, damn, I want a picture. I text everybody. I'm like, yo, Andre 3000 right there. Should I ask them for a picture? And they was like, yeah, just go ask them. You know, you Blogzilla. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want to be Blogzilla. I want to just be like a fan. Like, it's different.
Yeah.
So anyway, I walked up to him and I was like, yo, can I get a picture with you? Trying to be low, trying not to like, say nothing too crazy. And his wife was like, I know who you are. And you Blogzilla, right? And I was like, oh shit, yeah. And it was like, oh yeah, I think I follow you, I read your stuff, I seen your stuff around, you do good work. And Andre was like, oh yeah. And then we took a picture and I asked this lady sitting next to him, I said, yo, I want to ask his girlfriend because I think that's weird. So I was like, hey ma'am, can you take this picture of us? And she goes, oh my God. She freaks out. So Andre ends up taking the phone and we took a selfie together. But that was the coolest thing, just to be like, this person saw my shit and knew who I was. And now here I am freaking out about it. So that's the one story I would share, if anything.
But that's one of the moments that puts the battery in your back, because that's going off of past work that somebody has been consuming. So you actually get to see the growth at a point like that when somebody like Andre 3000 knows exactly who you are, because like you said, you tried to be low. You didn't come in as like, hey, I'm Blockzilla.
Yeah.
You allowed your work to speak for itself, and you know, to put a face to it.
But when I walked away, I would have been like, y'all know who the fuck I am?
I'm the shit.
Because Drake, 3000, that's major, and you know, in my eyes. But I think, I mean, did it? I'm sure it made you want to grind even more harder. Like, you know, if Drake 3000 know me, or you know, some people can be like, oh shit, it's gonna go to my head, or some people might be like, well shit, I need to. Now I want all my 3000s to like me, or you know what I mean?
I don't think it's people that go to your head. I just think it's the experience. Because I feel like I read a lot. I was reading something and it was like your goal should be based off experiences and not things. So like a lot of times people will set a goal and it'll be like, oh, I want to be this. Like I want to be the CEO of this company, or I want to work for Netflix, or blah, 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 blah. But your goals should really be, your big goals should be experiences and things. They should make you feel something. Right. So like, I think the things that went to my, not even that went to my head, but kind of like the things that I maybe took for granted, especially now with COVID and having this year to sit down and just be still, is that I experienced and I did a lot of things. Like I was riding on a Vespa in Rome and we rode past the Colosseum, and the Vespa is this street where the Vatican looks small, but then it gets bigger. It looks bigger, then it gets smaller, depending on which way you're going. But it never moves. Like it's crazy. Damn. So like I did stuff like that. Like I was able to zip line on off the tallest mountain in Jamaica.
Oh damn!
I was able to ride horses in water. I was able to do all of the experiences, and I was able to take my daughter places. I was able to take my girl places. Like me and my girl, for our birthdays, we went to Spain, right? We went to Spain. We was in Madrid. We took the train down to Dorne. It's actually Sevilla, but that's where they filmed Game of Thrones. So we went and we was just walking around Dorne for the day. The next day we went back and we caught the plane to Paris, right? We was in Paris for a night, just a night. We caught a cheap flight to Paris from Spain. We was in Paris for the night. Then we went back to Madrid, stayed there for a night, had dinner at this dope spot. Then we went to Ibiza. You know what I mean? Just being able to travel like that is a blessing. I mean, it sounds super lucrative, but honestly, the two plane tickets to Paris was $40.
I always tell people it's sometimes a lot cheaper to travel internationally than it is to travel domestically.
And I want to say that I think you felt like you was probably stunned. Now, brothers, we need that. We need you to tell that experience. Just because you went to Paris and you went to, did you say Ebenezer?
Ibiza.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm from Arkansas.
Man,
you know
don't deprecate. Don't
so no, I just wanted to keep going, man. We need that value because it's a lot of people like myself from a small city. You know, I thought big. I think big. You know what I'm saying? And one day I want to backpack through Paris and Europe and those places. But I don't want. At the same time, I think as a culture, we think if we get to a certain ceiling level, we gotta take a step down because we want to dim the light because we don't want to overshine our peers. But man, keep going, man. Keep going with that knowledge, man. That's one reason that inspired me. On like every time I see you, I mean, I don't know where you were, but I saw one of them photos when you popped up, and I was like, man, dude be everywhere, and don't nobody even know, like certain people know, but he's everywhere. He's like a fly on the wall.
What's your goals? Like what is your main big goal? What is that goal?
Yeah, what is your main big goal? You know, now speak on
my main goal is to just get to a level of self-affirmation that I'm always giving, and I'm be honest with you, I'm living life like you, where it's just I'm seeing experiences across the world, man. Just going to Israel or going to India. You know, I want to go see our Indian culture. You know, I read a book a long time ago.
India too.
I read a book. The greatest kings and queens come from Asia and Africa. And that's one reason why I went to Vegas for the first time in November, and I'm almost 40. I went to Vegas the first time ever. Man, and I couldn't think, and it was when Kamala got elected, man, I was in my hotel room crying because it was just like every time I said a name, because I think I believe in DNA. I believe in things that's within, that spiritual energy that's within, and it's always gonna shine, man. It's always, I don't care how much negativity, how much capitalism you can put, that's gonna always shine through all that darkness.
Yeah.
You know, so if anything that I see myself, it's just, man, just living, man. I'm on 39. Hopefully when I turn 40, I have my first child. I don't have any children yet, you know, so my goal probably in the next 5 years. But if not, I said when I do, but I did say when I do have children.
Be in a wheelchair graduation.
Hey, I might be in a wheelchair graduation.
Nah, I know you won't.
Don't put that out there, man.
I ain't gonna put that out there.
But I mean, honestly, you really are inspiring to me as how to live, you know, in your own realm. You know what I'm saying? It's so much in this world that you can get caught up in, and like you said, like I think Antoine, you piggyback when saying like what regarding ego, like did something make you feel like you was there and you was like not necessarily one person, it's more the work. I don't never want to be in that realm. I don't care how successful I get. I don't care how successful our brand get. I always want to feel like I can disconnect and move as I should.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. That's hard because you got to stay present to really stay focused on not to let shit go to your head. Because I was at South by Southwest and I went to hear Garth Edwards speak. It's actually on YouTube. I'll send you guys the link once we're done with this. And he was talking about how his mother or his father gave him this book from George Lucas about how you can't create Star Wars or something like that. Anyway, he was saying that he worked really, really hard. He broke into the business. And then when he got there, like he thought he was going to do all of this stuff, right? He thought he was going to go do this, do that, have all of these big dreams and these big accomplishments. And he got all of that, right? But then he said it starts to kind of like go to your head because this is the stuff that you were promised in the brochures.
Right.
So like when you open a brochure, you see all of this fun stuff. And then when you accomplish the stuff, that's what you expected. Is what you expected. So if it doesn't meet that high expectation that you set, you kind of start to lose track of just how dope and how meaningful what the stuff that you're doing actually is. So my word and my advice to you is to stay present. Like the other day, I was just going through my phone. I don't know if anyone looked at my stories. I was going through my phone.
Yeah, I saw those pictures.
And then Kobe had liked my interview with Ron Howard where they mentioned Kobe. And I was like, wow, I forgot Kobe Bryant liked my tweet.
That's
like,
dope.
Look, at the moment, it was just like, oh, Kobe liked it. I screenshotted it. I recognized it.
But once he's gone, the impact
put
of
it back. Even when he died, I forgot that it happened. I didn't remember it till a couple of days ago. I'm like, damn, Kobe liked my tweet. Then Kobe saw my stuff. Like, wow, like that's crazy to me that I forgot that.
Yeah.
Like you really got to remember, like if you're about to propel, to stay present. And you said you're 40, so don't let that knock anything, because I just wrote on my website, dadzilla.com, that there's a lot of people who started when they're 40. The founder of The Gap, Don Fisher, had no retail experience. He was doing something with Levi, had to return a pair of jeans and they didn't have his size. He was like, what if we had a spot that had everybody's size? Like, and they started The Gap. But what he did, he had kids too. So he was like, oh, okay, my kids like music, so let me sell music and jeans. So they created the generation gap.
Yeah.
And now it's everywhere. He was 40 with no prior retail experience. Now he's a billionaire. Like stuff like that is like kind of the stories that you want to kind of use to propel and motivate you. So I don't know, I'm rambling, but y'all give it up.
No.
Hey, this is the show where you do ramble. Trust me.
So to kind of tie back to the point where you were saying that we have to kind of, when you get when you see everything that's in the brochure and you get to a certain point where you've accomplished the goals that you initially set, you know, the visions that you initially had, you are able to bring those to real life. Do you feel as though sometimes that's why when someone gets to a certain point of stardom or wealth or, you know, or celebrity, that they start to sometimes spiral because you've lost your true motivation because you've accomplished? Just as though it's like sometimes when that athlete gets the big paycheck, the one that is generational money, and so you have to find something else to propel you if you're not living in the moment of appreciating what you have. You get what I'm? Because I think sometimes when you get to a certain point of wealth and celebrity and accomplishment, you start taking all of this for granted because it's the norm for you. It's the usual for you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's why it's important to stay present and to understand exactly what's happening in that moment and not to expect anything. And that's hard. I don't know. I don't know why people spiral. I think having a firm foundation, and look, this is all stuff that I'm still dealing with, right? And I'm still trying to work on myself and become a better person. So I don't have the answer to that. I mean, that's an interesting concept, but you do start to, not only you start to expect stuff, people start to expect stuff that you won't tolerate stuff too, right?
Right.
So like you have your version of you, and then people have their version of you, and then they clash and they bump. Like people like, oh, I don't know, you might be too big to do this or too. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like most of the celebrities, that, like perfect example, Ethan Hawke. He went to this class and he really wanted to engage and talk to these students, but they just wanted a selfie. He's like, he was so eager to go and connect and like help these kids out to become actors, and none of them had any questions.
But they wanted the photo op. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, and he was like, oh, so like you gotta.
It's an empty interaction, and it kind of is a letdown because you've I'm sure he had so much
just
knowledge,
be present,
right?
Just
and so
be present.
that's one thing I hate about us as a generation is sometimes we're not present. Like I saw a video where a kid, Drake was getting out of a car, and of course this is a teen kid that is I'm sure is a huge fan. So Drake is thinking the kid wants to give him a handshake. But the kid misses the handshake trying to video himself with Drake in the background. It was that brief of an interaction. But instead of having the actual interpersonal interaction, he wanted to get the photo op.
Yeah.
And you missed the point the point where you were able to interact as a normal human being with somebody you looked up to in order to get the photo op for your fans or your social media followers.
I think that's what it's about.
He probably didn't want to bother Drake.
No, but the thing is, like Drake actually put his hand out thinking he wanted to give him a handshake.
No, but I'm saying the kid wasn't present in his mind. He actually probably didn't want to bother Drake. And I think, and that's again what I'm trying to say is that people have expectations of you that aren't necessarily who you are,
right.
And that's the thing you need to juggle because Drake was probably looking to interact with this kid, but this kid was like, I don't want to bother. Let me just get this photo, and then miss that opportunity. That's why it's important for you to stay present and out of your mind, because your mind and your thoughts ain't real. Your thoughts aren't real. They're made up. Yeah. They're made up.
It's imagination.
We lie to ourselves all the time.
You really think about it.
Yeah, if you think about it.
You really think about it. We lie to ourselves and our thoughts a lot.
Yo, the Powerball is $500 million right now. And if you got $20 to burn, you probably be like, yo, I'm gonna go win the Powerball.
I got a shot. You're telling yourself you got a shot.
I got a chance.
we need to tell ourselves better lies. We need to tell ourselves.
That's a real thing, though.
That's real. I gotta remember that. We gotta tell ourselves better lies. I gotta remember
that's a real thing. I mean, because that has led us on, on passages and routes that we couldn't really navigate because we felt like that, people that have put money into businesses that they really didn't know anything about, you know what I'm saying? But you tell yourself it was a get-rich-quick scheme, and you end up taking the L. So it happens all the time.
You knew it was BS when you signed up.
But trying to transition, because one of the things we wanted to, tap in with you, especially myself, I'm a huge fan. Marcus is, Knowledge is a huge fan of film. And that's one of the things that makes you such an interesting follow to me is because you kind of go granular in how you view things, and you don't just look at one spectrum of cinema. So I kind of wanted to, touch on, what brought your passion in cinema, as far as you to go deeper and, and to actually be introspective in what you're seeing.
Man, son. So again, I'm present. So you're getting a great version of me right now. Because I've been in my mind, I've been in my head, just analyzing things that's happening at this very moment. So my stepdad was a barber. He was a barber. And he would always bring home bootleg movies, you know what I mean? Always bring home bootleg movies. The bootleg, to the point where the bootleg, he just had a bootleg man come to the house with the bag and we'd just pick what we wanted. So I was watching all of these bootleg movies, and it was Menace to Society, 1992, 93. Me and my best friend Latif. we just got our hands on that bootleg. It was a clear copy, and we watched it every single day.
Yeah.
We watched other movies, but we would always come back to Menace to Society. And are you acting like a little bitch right now? He was O-Dog, I was Kane, and we lived that movie, right? We lived that movie. But that's how I fell in love with cinema. You throw in Goonies in there, you throw in that. But it was my stepdad bringing home those movies. And the old man is, you know, I mean, he's a little sick right now. I ain't going to tell all his business. But it's been difficult to sort of just process a lot of that, you know what I mean? But just that's why I fell in love with cinema, watching bootleg movies. So to know that, and I just, you know, to know that, and then be able to travel the world to watch movies. I watch movies in Rome. I watch movies in Scotland. I watch movies in castles, like, you know what I mean? And to think all of that just blew by, and I like expected any of that. Like, and that's the part that kind of not bothers me, but now on this second part of my journey, or latest part of my journey, I'm like, okay, cool, right? Because you got to figure out, like, what body are you in right now? Because you live in multiple different bodies. You have your newborn body, you have your toddler body, you have your teenage body, you have your grown-up body. So you live in all of these different vessels.
Yeah.
And now just how do you stay present and then catapult that? And I think I escape through movies. So that's one of the things that I like to escape through and see past lives and everything. So I just love film. I love all types of film.
Man, and that's interesting that you said that, because I'm a film person, and growing up in really a drug-infested environment,
Me too.
Menace Society just wasn't it. But my wife, it's like you. She can watch it. But I'm the type, and when I got lost and I wanted to take myself away, I'm a Saved by the Bell guy.
Oh, you tried to watch the complete opposite of your reality.
He wanted to be Slater.
Like right now, I can't watch Sugar Hill or anything of that. And thing is, and the good thing about Saved by the Bell, not saying that I wanted to be that culture.
He said Saved by the Bell.
They went to a sitcom before school sitcom.
That's film. Keep going.
No.
But we're gonna give him a hard time,
the reason why I like Saved by the Bell, if you saw the reboot, man, it always was inclusion. It was always inclusion, even on the show.
Who?
You know,
Lisa.
I mean,
one.
Mario Lopez. I mean, Slater. Even Zach.
He was the job.
Zach was the
minority
Zach
job.
was the richest.
Zach
was
was the rich
richest.
Hold on. What he's saying though is that they had a multicultural cast when that wasn't
before it was the norm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so it like now, like even now with drug, like, you know, my problem with film right now, if you're gonna do another drug film, let's look at the pill industries. Stop doing the same strategy. Like, I know you guys like that snow. That's like,
but see, like I told you, Snowfall ain't them sitting on the block selling dope. It lets you know about the weapons they brought over here.
Bro, but
it lets you know about the Contra. It lets you know everything.
You guys like Snowfall?
I love Snowfall.
They love Snowfall.
Have you watched? You might like Snowfall too. Have you watched Kill the Messenger?
Yeah, I have. The movie? Netflix. I have.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Kill a
Super dope
Messenger
movie.
Super dope movie.
It's the exact story of Snowfall.
Yeah.
In Kill a Messenger, they let you know how the government brought the crack in,
Absolutely.
gave it to different drug dealers, then locked them up, took their money in order to fund the war.
Right, the Contra war.
But I mean, my memory can go back to 82, 83. We saw it. We saw
you saw it at a certain level.
I remember,
How old was you at 82?
No, I'm sorry. I'm saying my memory
I was 4,
I'm
nigga.
sorry, my memory go back. I'm gonna say 87. I
Okay.
literally on one spectrum saw and smelled crack, which is the worst fucking smell ever. And at the same time, I saw birds getting cooked.
But you got
and at the same time, like, when we keep polarizing these type of movies, it's kind of like, what are we doing to our own community? That's the reason why I like they cool. Like I ain't gonna lie, Superfly was a great like transition from pimping to new age. Like, I like the creativity of I like the score. I like the cinema. Score is the music, right?
Yeah.
The score was great on that, and it was amazing to go to an AMC movie and hear it. But I think that as we
He was not born with Superfly.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm talking about the difference of the movie.
Oh, okay.
Like, but now it's like some stuff just don't need to be remade. Like, New Jack City is one of the greatest.
Well, a lot of people didn't know that though.
Real. You got to think that was your reality.
Right.
But for a lot of people, that's not their reality.
Yeah.
That's just like us watching Clueless or something like that. That's not our reality.
And that goes back to me saying a lot of people didn't know when they watch the colors, colors for the first time in Bucktuck, Utah. Damn, they really got gangs like that. They really a lot of people didn't know that. So
sidebar on that,
I don't think those movies are just
that movie. The reason why drive-bys went across the whole United States.
Well, I
that
mean,
movie there made drive-bys.
You can't blame.
But the thing is, but that's reckless. You can't. That means stop listening to hip hop.
Right.
You can't pick and choose what you want to consume, and then you actually want to knock what's other art. You can't pick and choose on the art. Like you. And that's all I'm saying. It's like you can't be belligerent in how you approach it.
And that's one of the beauties of film because it allows you to escape. There's a whole genre of film that you might like. That doesn't deal with violence, that doesn't deal with the drug industry. I understand it hit close to home to you, so you don't like that kind of movies, and that's fair. And you have that, but there's beautiful films like Sorry to Bother You. You might like Sorry. That's really
awesome.
That's really out there. But then you also have movies like The Last Black Man in San Francisco. Yeah. That might touch you as well.
Yeah, I got to catch up on that one.
You have movies like Fight Club. You have movies like Memento. You have movies that are just like Sylvie's Love, that are just two people loving each other. And then there's this Asian movie that I watched. It's on HBO Max called I'm in the Mood for Love. And it's about this, it's the subtitles, but it's about this Asian couple. And the way the director shoots it, he shoots a lot. He shoots through stuff. So it kind of feels like you watching and you're not supposed to see it.
From a first-hand view, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, just the way people could craft and tell stories with film. Right. And if you start to look at how they tell stories, you'll find yourself watching movies a little bit differently.
So I agree on that. And like going back to like now that you say Snowfall, okay. You say your Snowfall just show niggas or selling dope or whatever. You don't want to see that again. Now, one of my favorite movies, bro, it's probably one of my top 5 favorite movies. It's a prison movie. But if you watch the movie, like Shawshank Redemption, it's a movie about dudes in prison. But if you look outside of that, it ain't really got nothing to do with prison. Like it's way bigger.
The interactions
than
and the relationships is what ties the storyline. Yeah. And so that's why, honestly, and I get what you're saying, because when you've seen something and you see somebody romanticize it, it can kind of make you. It's just like when we watched Mississippi Burning. Movies like that where it puts the emotion, the first-hand emotion inside of you, Rosewood. Yeah. But that's great cinema. The fact that it made you react to it in such a way, they accomplished their goal of making it real. Yeah. Because I always say you can see through bullshit. But that's why one of the best movies I enjoy, and from a cinematic perspective, but also from a score perspective, because it wasn't my generation, but it's how my mom told me it was in her generation. It's Crooklyn. Because I love how you can bring the art of and because it shows we're not a monolith. You know, they had Puerto Ricans, they had blacks, but they had the black family who was a little higher up in in economic status than the other, but then you saw them have to come down and deal with real financial hardships. Right. But you also saw happiness. And that's why I always say cinema is so great, because it can take you wherever you want to go. So
have you guys seen the movie called I'm Thinking About Ending Things on Netflix?
No,
I haven't seen it.
I'm just I will be curious to see what you guys think about that.
So who's in it?
Nothing to do with black people. You watched Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Yep.
The dude who beat up Jesse? I forget his name. The Todd, whatever his name. The dude who captured Jesse.
Yeah.
He's in it.
Okay.
And did you watch Fargo with Chris Rock?
Yes, I watched Fargo.
The nurse is in it too. I don't know both of their names off the top of my head, but both of those two people are in that movie. And it's called I'm Thinking About Ending Things.
Let's take a pause right there. How did you like how the screenplay or the writing catered to the naturalness of Chris Rock on Fargo? I thought they did an excellent job.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job too, because he was just coming in. He wasn't a native of Fargo, of that area, but he was just coming in. I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought they allowed him to sort of build and become Lloyd Cannon. Like the first half of it was more about Glenn Furman and Dr. Senator. And And then the second half of it was more you watch him sort of spiral out of control.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I thought it was absolutely great. I can't wait to see how I want them to really have a whole season about how his son becomes Mike Mulligan. I want to see that too. Like, it's really interesting. I thought Fargo was brilliant. I loved it.
So I was just gonna say, to tie into speaking on Chris Rock's performance there. What do you think in your eyes? It's a 2-part question. What was the best cinematic performance in your eyes of all time, if you can put it there, or top 3? I just kind of want to see what is one performance that just stood out to you.
When you say cinematic, you mean like in a movie?
Yeah, in a movie. Yeah, or even a show. Just the best acting job or the most convincing acting job you've ever seen.
I really, best acting job. As far as acting, I would say Denzel and Man on Fire. I think Denzel and Man on Fire, him being this broken person who gets a second chance, fall in love, and then puts it all out on the line. I think that is a great film, cinematic, not cinematic. That's a great story that was told, that was handled excellently by Denzel. And I think Christopher Walken, well, Denzel is the cake, but Christopher Walken's character is the icing on the cake when he goes, every man has an art form. Creasy's art is deaf, and he's about to paint his masterpiece. And then that sends the character off on this journey of just like killing. I wish you had more time. It just sends the character off, and Denzel just nailed it. I think that is a great performance as far as story arc and character. Right there, I think that's beautiful.
I loved him in Training Day,
if you wanted just like a great cinematic experience with character and everything meshing, I would say my guy Macon Blair from Blue Ruin. He wrote this movie. He didn't direct it, but he wrote it, and he starred in it. And it's about this guy who gets redemption. These hicks, hillbillies, they kill his family. He goes to a recluse. He's not like a murderer. He's just a regular white dude. He has no special set of kills. He won't find you and he'll kill you. He just is determined to pay you back for killing his dad.
Yeah.
And he goes on this mission, and it's just a great story. Everything just plays. And cinematically, it's beautiful to watch. The story is great. It's funny. It's violent. It's murder. It's gory. It's a great film, too.
Can we tap into your imagination for a little bit? Because the way you explained it just now, as far as, because I've never seen it, but I feel as though you're great at being able to bring the art form into the actual, cinema, because I feel like some people watch it, but some people experience it also. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so to kind of tie back to this week's experiences, because I feel as though some stuff is so graphic or so unrealistic, it becomes like a movie in front of you.
Man.
If, because I saw your story this week, and everybody has been talked about the attempted coup, at Capitol Hill. From a cinematic perspective, like what goes to your head when you see that? If you could title it,
or what movie does it remind you of?
Like, was there a moment where it's like, this reminds me of something when you were seeing the graphics and the visuals?
It reminded me kind of part of it reminded me of I Am Legend.
Okay.
When he goes into that dark place, and then all of those creatures are like coming at him, and he's trying to find his dog, and he's backpedaling out of that.
D-Boy said the same thing.
I said the same thing.
But then it also reminded me of The Walking Dead. I watched the whole 30-minute.
Bro, you said this. The two movies you picked, he said
Lockzilla, not to cut you off, but what reminded me of it is when they were climbing that big ass wall, and some of them was falling down. Like, a couple people didn't make it. They almost got there. They failed. I was like, this looked like it was like some zombie shit.
So, like, was there and like you said, it's Walking Dead. So, what do you think brought those two? Like, what was the most unbelievable or most eye-popping part of that to you, if you could select just one or two?
eye-popping part of
the quote unquote attempted takeover. You know,
the insurrection.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
I watched the whole. I watched this 30-minute video by, I think his name is Jaden X or Caden X, whatever his name is. He has a 30-minute video. It should still be on YouTube. I don't think he took it down. And in the middle of that, right, they're storming this thing, and this black kid who's there for some reason, he sounds like a white dude, but he's black. He bumps into this other hood ass black dude.
You can say it, hood ass nigga.
And he was just like, yeah, yo, follow me on Instagram, my nigga. Like, it's being
which goes back to he didn't want no, he just wanted to be seen.
And that reminded me of when Glenn and Rick meet in the first place. Anyway, and that was weird. That stood out to me. And then he also said, I have a knife. And I'm just like, dude, like, why you're recording yourself? I have a knife. You're trying to, like, you're implicating yourself in your videos everywhere.
Right.
It's weird.
But you know, it was a video that brought realism to me, because of course we saw the huge scores and amount of Trump supporters that were, they always say a strength in numbers. But there's one video, and I saw it on Ball Alert, where it was some Trump, because DC is very small. So if you can park 2 blocks away and you are in the middle of the hood.
And one dude said, bring that shit over Southeast.
Yeah, so these Trump supporters were trying to park their car. They were parking, and it was some of us outside, older black dudes outside on the stoop, just, doing what they do in politicking. You feel me? And they get out, and the first thing that, they're pulling out their Trump flags, and so you like, the dude like, you better put that shit back up. He was like, you try to park that car here, that shit gonna come back on blocks. Like he told him. And so, because I'm like, how they say keep the same energy?
Keep that same energy.
I know y'all about to go talk shit when y'all meet y'all compadres. But right now, you gotta pick your battle. You feel like?
Not yet, honey.
When I tell you, it was you know how hard it is to find parking if you've been to downtown, if you've been to DC. So this was an A1 parking spot. They got their ass back in their car so goddamn quickly.
Got the fuck out of there.
And hit the block up. I'm sure they took them another 15, 20 minutes to find a parking spot.
You got to pick your battles.
Because they knew that, because they came with all the bullshit. They got their flags. This is a big 10-foot flag. Like, this ain't no small, no, they trying to rep. He saw that goddamn Trump's flag hit the goddamn outside of that door. Better put that the conviction in his conviction.
He stood up when
he was like, "You got your guns, I got mine. We'll shoot at each other."
Honey, get back in the car.
Honey,
get back in the car.
And I loved it because it was like, they can talk their shit when they together.
Mm-hmm.
But it get real when it's just a few of y'all. You get what I'm saying?
And you split
when they leave, I be talking.
He called them everything but a child of God when they got back in that car.
He was all kind of niggas in that car.
Goddamn monkeys.
What he gonna do? But one of the videos that really, really, I mean, when I seen the black cop with the baton running backwards up the stairs to a motherfucker who looked like.
But that's the black that came out of you. The thing is, we gonna run when we see danger. We know.
But no, it was just the one dude. Remember, the one dude kept charging him. He kept backing up. Back up.
Nah, but he saw backup coming through that door.
But all it takes is one.
He weighed
one
his
fall
salary. He weighed his salary.
I don't get paid enough for this shit. He thought to himself, I don't get paid enough.
I don't give a damn what he say. I ain't gonna call him a cow. He weighed like, man, I don't get a pay.
That was his chance to just have free. That was his chance. He missed the opportunity.
I really hate the clown of him, but he was like, get! And then
right. Like it was a loose dog off the chain.
Go
get back. Who dog is it? No, you hit this motherfucking ass upside the head.
And then the thing is, he looking back running. Like,
you supposed to be protected.
He was like, this shit wasn't on the agenda today.
But did you see the no look spray when the dude was jumping through?
He hit him with that no ass.
Bullseye. Hit him right in the middle of the face.
Man, I do want to ask you this. I know we got time, man. And really just us, period, man. When I think this is the first time, and honestly, man, I ain't gonna lie, I feel free. I was at a restaurant last night. And for once, I looked to my left and I looked to my right, and I knew I was among peers because you could, on light of the events that happened this week, you know, our other peers of other cultures, they embarrassed. The ones that they embarrassed of what happened. They never thought that they was gonna see another Boston Tea Party.
But that shit ain't had nothing to do with us.
You know,
That's
and then, and for us to be like, for us to sit back,
that was damn.
For us to go look back and be like, that's how y'all act.
Yeah, that's why I said they better be glad we still working remote.
I saw this video that was like, you want to get a black person mad? Say y'all when they ain't got nothing to do.
Y'all up there.
They ain't got shit to do with me.
And the thing is, because I got a couple white homeboys, and the thing about it, when I say they talked about everything but that.
Did they call you?
Because you got to think, man, and I know, because it's so funny when you see people that are of the same background fighting within each other.
Right.
Did you see the video of the white guy that caught them crackers when he was standing on his porch? He was like, get the fuck out of here. Why are you here? Goddamn crackers. Middle-aged white dude. And it was a black chick in her car, like, they fucking up the whole city.
Instigate.
No,
we will instigate.
He was like, goddamn crackers. When I heard that.
If we was still working in the office, I couldn't have waited to got to work on the 7th. Just look at my white neighbor like, that's how y'all do.
Like, I know you got to go because I know your schedule busy, but let me ask you this, though. Do you want to see Oscar So Black and Emmy So Black this year?
Ooh, good
how are they gonna manage Chadwick Boseman? I mean, because he done a lot of films in a short time in 2000 and 2020.
Right.
How much do you want to see during that moment? And balancing against real good films that came out. Like I know we discussed, dang, the movie's on my mind. The chess movie that was on Netflix. That
Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, Queen's Gambit. And then you gave an honest review about Flight Attendant, which I agree, but I love Rosie Perez in it. But do you want to see Oscar So Black, Emmy So Black, or do you just want to keep it balanced? Do we need that right now? I don't think so.
I don't want to see. I mean, I just want the people who deserve to get to shine and get the shine they need. You know what I mean? I think that is. And Chadwick is just such a remarkable individual with purpose and he was very intentional with the roles and the things that he did. I just had the opportunity to talk to Chadwick in November of, not last year, the year before, 2 Novembers ago. And I asked him, I said, what was like your 5-year plan? Like where you see it? Like, he was like, I don't have anything to complain about. I just stay present. And I'm like, this man was battling cancer. And he said he had nothing to complain about. So I just, again, really opened my eyes to just staying present. And I just want them to, whatever they do, I don't want to tell them what to do because that's not my job. But whatever they do, I just hope it's good. They put thought into it. They're sincere behind it. And I think it's going to be a lot of us in there because we held it down like we always supposed to do. You got One Night in Miami coming. You got Judas and the Black Messiah. You got Ma Rainey. It might be three, maybe even 4 best actors that are black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they need to do what they need to do because if they just put one token in there, it's going to be a problem. Because I think Chadwick needs to be in there. I'm pretty sure Daniel Kaluuya needs to be in there. Delroy needs to be in there. You got a lot of people who deserve to get that nod.
Before you get out of here, because this fact that you spoke on Daniel Kaluuya, what is your viewpoint? Because I feel you've seen a lot of unrest. Because I agree. I hate when we separate, blackness based off of what country you were born in. Because, there's been a lot of unrest with, English-born actors getting roles.
They black.
And I hate that we do that because at the end of the day, if you can pull off the role, if you are the best for that role, I don't like to split it between American black versus English black versus African. And I hate when we split that because when they look at you in the police lineup, you are a black man.
Right.
Who better than Daniel Kaluuya? Who better? Like name one actor better than Daniel Kaluuya.
He killed it just from the trailer I saw.
And don't say, oh, he has recognition. No, he don't. Daniel Kaluuya is not famous.
Right.
He barely Daniel Kaluuya. He's the black dude from Get Out.
That's how I would say that. You will see him out. You be like, man, ain't that so and so from that man? He ain't. Denzel by one name. You get what I'm saying? Like that's fame. You know,
right.
So he's just the best actor for this role, and to get an Oscar-worthy actor to play Fred Hampton is dope. I think Kelvin Harrison Jr. is a dope actor too, and they put him in the Aaron Sorkin movie Trial of the Chicago 7 as Fred Hampton, and I was like, I get why he's there, but it didn't do the part justice in my opinion. Right. And I like him. I think he's one of the great young actors of today. I think Black Hollywood in general is in great hands with all the actors. I think Daniel Kaluuya's dope, but there's no one else who could play Fred Hampton. Who else could play Fred Hampton? Give me a suggestion, and I'll entertain.
Even from the way he, his voice tone and all of that, he captured it. And I saw that just in a 5-minute trailer. So I'm looking forward to the full performance.
Yeah.
They want Omari Hardwick to play Fred Hampton.
Hell no.
You weirdos.
That's crazy.
Hell no.
You brought up something about the evolution of what we are right now. And a lot of movies that I think if they would have replayed now or been created now would have been bigger. So as you stated, I told you I like, Saved by the Bell. I love rom-com action. My favorite movie that I promise you, like how you guys can watch Ministers of The Wood. Because
I love The Wood.
The Wood is how it was a group of the Wood and Dope. Wood and Dope is probably how I felt I grew up.
It softened the hood.
School drove us.
Yeah.
And that's crazy because I know
everybody in the hood wasn't gangbanging.
That's crazy. And I want to get to that. Why you never watched The Wood, man?
I never watched The Wood.
Why?
Really?
Why?
Wow.
You never wanted to, or just never got around?
I wasn't in the mind state to accept The Wood back when it came out. I think that's why, and I just haven't gone back to watch it. But funny story is, I was what's my man's name? Anyway, I did the interviews for Coach Carter, not Coach Carter, for what's the movie with Ben Affleck and whatever that movie was. I called the White Coach Carter.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And the dude was like, wait, really, White Coach Carter is that movie with Stacy from the Wood, DeAndre Barnes.
Stacy was in that movie?
Stacy from the Wood was in he was in White Coach Carter.
Good.
Oh, okay.
Big props.
Because
but he's a good actor though.
But he also
he done been through.
He been through it. So the fact that he's still getting work, Sunset Park. He was dope as the dude with the goggles. I used to love Sunset. I used to watch Sunset Park all the time after my basketball games in elementary.
You can shoot.
Is it? It's time to get loud.
Oh, okay.
Time to rebound.
Sunset Park. What's up? But yeah, man.
I like this character in Snowfall too. He did a good job in Snowfall.
He had one role, but he's always convincing.
Definitely convincing.
So before you get out of here, I want to, let everyone know where they can find your work, your content, and just pretty much just look at all old content, archived content, because I want people to be able to capture
content is gone. I had a mishap with GoDaddy, so that's gone. But you can find me at Dadzilla, DADXILLA, Dadzilla.com.
Okay. And then Instagram is,
Blogzilla on Instagram, BLOGXILLA. I'm Blogzilla everywhere. But just Dadzilla, you can get to everything from Dadzilla. Just go to Dadzilla.com.
Hey, one more question, and then I'm out. When you switch from Blogzilla to Global Grind with Russell Simmons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happened to Piper, man?
I have no clue. I honestly don't know.
She dropped off, and I know it was you. I know, and now this is when I got on Twitter. You guys was just really pushing Global Grind at that time.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have no clue.
Man, but I appreciate you coming. You dropped
you.
many gems on us.
Bro.
And,
man, thank you for just giving that love is what you stated. And I much as, man, if I would like for you to come to the show after COVID, we can discuss any type of arrangements because I think we can keep going, whenever time permits. Man, I hope that you receive the same energy that you gave, if not
Thank
more.
Thank you.
Man, but yeah, man, I appreciate you. And I know, like you said, we had time, man. I really appreciate it. We're going to keep moving because we got a lot more to talk about.
Awesome.
But keep achieving, man, and keep being that
Thanks
fly
again,
on the wall.
Thank you guys very much for having me. I appreciate you. Good luck with the show and have a great rest of the show. Unspoken Conversations is a dope Unspoken Conversation is a dope podcast. Thank you guys for having me on that.
No doubt, man.
Most definitely.
All right, peace, man.
You
In
be
a
safe
minute,
out
man.
there in these COVID streets.
And we in the TX, baby.
Texas. Peace out, guys.
All right, in a minute.
All right, man.
Man,
yeah, that was like
wow. I'm like you guys don't understand. Like, much as y'all ham me about yay, you know what I'm saying? like this the guy. These are the guys that really, really just fuel me every day to keep building good content.
Yeah, he about to get divorced, ain't he?
Like no,
Give a damn if he
take
do
it slow. Take it slow.
Segment?
No, but take it slow. Like
No.
You know, he fuck the foreplay.
This is these are the pioneers that's behind to me.
Right.
When we see social media and we go to Ball Alert and we go to Shade Room and we go to the Instant Post, man, he was one of the guys that literally was posting genuine stuff. Like if you saw some hot flash stuff, it's because I think he kind of knew it was true.
a lot of people didn't know the source. You just saw it when it was moving, especially when Twitter was new.
Yeah.
And that's when you start being able to capture who a lot of the voices of the culture were, because that was the first place that people had true personal value in what they posted, because you could post what you were interested in. And that's why it's dope to kind of see the scalability of social media, but I feel as though sometimes it's taken away the voices of those blogzillas because there's so much content. But that shows you that he's still able to maintain his base and his traffic because he's a voice of the beginning of, content, sharing and cultivating what's going on in the culture. But that's why I would think it was dope, and it was perfect timing to get an introspective guest for what we just seen this last week, coming off of a 2020 like we had, because like he said, you have to be able to accept the small wins, but also look back regressively at, where we've come from. I'm just looking at how dark things were in March and April. Of course, COVID hasn't gone away, but you remember at some point we couldn't find toilet paper.
Bruh.
But now I ain't excusing it, but people at day parties now. You got to think, we looking at it as like, fuck shit bad.
Yeah.
But it was way worse at one point in time. We was waiting in line to get in Walmart.
Yeah.
You remember that? Like, even if you got there at 5:30 a.m. and
it's a line.
So
like
you
Black
had
Friday.
to just take the small wins, is how, because we've, from a scalability perspective, we're handling living throughout the COVID and pandemic shaped world better as humans. We've gotten used to working remotely. At first some people struggle with having to work within the house, but now you've had your day-to-day routine based off working in the house. The transition of going back to the office would be the hard part now. So that's why it's like, it shows you how we're able to just adapt as humans and as a world, and because you have to. If you're forced to have to deal with what the hand you were dealt, it shows that you're capable of doing it. And it's kind of, tie in, and we didn't really get a chance to touch on this before, at the beginning of the show. How has, outside of everything that has happened this week, how has you guys 2021 been,
So far?
up to this point?
What's the date? 8th, 9th, 10th? What's the date?
The 9th?
The 9th? If these first 9 days, man, it feel like 2020 still here. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I feel like 2020 still here.
It's just you just got to remember to change the date. You just got to remember to change the date.
Yeah, that's it. You gonna be it? But now 20, man, listen, I think until Trump get out of office, we ain't gonna be able to enjoy 2021 yet, because
You got no.
Shit, you really. I'm enjoying the fuck out of them starting to push him out of there. No, I'm enjoying the transition. Twitter.
Yeah,
you gotta think Twitter is
silence
everything. Like seeing them be like, nah, we about to get this motherfucker out of here slowly but surely. Like,
but all serious though, this is we have to go deeper than that. Like the whole. I know they have an agenda for these 4 years, but I really want the Biden and Harris campaign to continue to apply that pressure to Donald Trump, because he's not going to go away if you just think he's going to walk out. Because
what you mean he ain't going to go away?
All right, if you just assume that, all right, as long as he get out of office, like you said, he's gone, right?
He's going to be annoying.
He's going to be annoying as fuck. He's going to be annoying as fuck. You have to keep, like, for example, he shouldn't have access to getting a presidential library.
Yeah,
things
but I'm
like
saying
that.
He's gonna be annoying if you listening to him.
But think of it like this.
Like,
get out of office, he ain't gonna have no.
But no, you got to think.
You
this
have
is the
to go all the way to where he bankrupt and die.
it's definitely nobody.
No,
I want his ass. I want him to wear the little bracelet. That nigga, I want him to get
because the thing is what you're trying to prove an example of why if you never held a federal office position, it's why you can't be president. He's up there. He literally was up there and said, we're going to go down there. He's trolling.
Yeah.
And he doesn't understand how, and it goes back to what we were saying, how some people look at a perception, I don't care if it was a movie like Colors or if it was a song like WAP, and how they perceive it.
Right.
He said, we're going to go down there. And took it lightly, and then looked back and went and tucked his tail and went to tweet. Was like,
because he got blood on his hands.
Because you equipped us with the rhetoric to be like when Rudy Giuliani, we'll have a takeover by combat. Right. And I look at it as this: you can tell somebody, even if you try to bullshit and say that wasn't my intention.
He knew what he was doing.
If you equip, that's why I say no. He knew what he was doing. No. Time out. Like, let's do it one by one, bro. What I mean by that is you can equip someone with the rhetoric, but you don't know what they're going to do with the rhetoric. And I always say that. Like, you can't try to hide your hand and say, I had nothing to do with this shit. Because at the end of the day, you knew you had a wild bunch of supporters
that were pissed off.
Even if they don't represent all of them, you knew you have a core base who are with everything that comes to doing the first-hand combat, the takeover, and that's what is going to be annoying as he transitions out and is doing his next 4 years.
Now, his followers,
he handled his followers because he still can stoke the flames. He still can add to the issues because at the end of the day, you can say what you want to say. He lost, but that is a huge base of people that are moving. And that's why I feel like so many in Twitter and social media is trying to do everything they can to mute the rhetoric because that is what inflames everything.
Absolutely.
But you can't get rid of them overnight.
I agree.
And that's why I always say you can't look at this as an absolute win. You have to look at this as a progression and as a small victory.
But Source, just think when Obama won, it was that same energy. Like, and it eventually went away. But me personally, I know y'all have told me before, he's been a sitting president, he ain't gonna get locked up. Okay, maybe not. But at the same time, Trump is not, in my opinion, I think he gonna get his ass somewhere and sit down. Because Trump, like, they looking at, they was talking about federal charges.
Man,
which they probably not
going to. Think of the ego of Donald
Trump.
Trump.
Listen.
And he's an old white man who ain't nobody ever told no to, so I get that.
You think he's just about to go sit down in Mar-a-Lago or wherever?
But I think if prosecutors come at it, because if he keeps stirring this shit up and the U.S. government come at him and say, you know what, if you keep doing what you're doing, charges will be filed on you and there's nowhere you can run to. You think he's still going to come with that shit?
I'm going to tell you a bigger play. Man. They got a valid reason on censorship of social media. And I'm going to tell you why. He been going on and on for 4 years.
Yeah.
The publicly held companies had all right to do what they did this week, and they never did. They never did until it got to this point. Okay. So guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna be some lobbyists to be like, see, why I like under all of this, it's been going, a lot of power and censorship has been going on. Like we need to censorship social media, we need to no, we have. It's been going a lot.
Yeah.
So I salute the Mark Zuckerberg for stepping out to be like, we finna permanently suspend you because he's been going on. He's been going on the board. He's been the only one been going back and forth with him. But for that motherfucker, Twitter, been doing all the validation rules, putting it like, well, we can't suspend you because we got to protect the free speech.
And I think that's where it came from an optics perspective.
It's going to trickle down. You got to look. Boosie got suspended for worse than that. But Duval got suspended for less than that.
But you got to think though. You can't compare the two because one is a security measure. We're dealing with, international, issues and international.
They could have restricted his tweets, and UNIT. They could have restricted his tweets.
But that's why I think he's the main reason why they started having the disclosure if something is not truly based. Because you can't just at the end of the day, as much as you hate him, it's hard to mute the highest office in the land.
Absolutely.
It's hard because you have to really justify it.
100%.
And so now, since he has 2 weeks in office, it's a lot easier because he will no longer have the office tied to his social media. Now even though he's a former president, he's an individual at this point. And so he is not tied to the office of the presidency. He's not he's the 45th, but he's not the sitting president.
Right.
So I feel as though that's why you're seeing this hard response, because now it's like he's trying to fuck shit up on his way out. And the sooner, but it's too late now because the voices have been activated 2 to 3, 4 years ago.
Right.
And now you can't and you can't, like, did you see the visuals of his supporters in the airport on Lindsey Graham? You know how they were, attacking Lindsey Graham verbally.
Why they call him Lady G?
Because his name Lindsey.
Oh, okay. That's the only reason I wonder. Why do they keep calling him Lady G?
That's Lindsey Graham. If you didn't know what he looked like,
if
you didn't know what he looked like, you'd be like, "That's Lady G."
That's Mrs. Graham.
All right, man. I was one like, man.
I don't know her name, Lindsey.
Bro. Shout out to Lindsey Hunter, the former hooper.
Yeah, Lindsey Hunter. That's right.
You have to be cold.
Detroit Pistons.
You have to be a cold motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That carry the name Lindsey, bro. But no.
But like you say, I think it's too late for him to even turn off his supporters because, like, they so gassed up now. And then he think by some reason in 2024 he gonna be president again, so he gonna try to keep that same base.
Yeah.
So he ain't gonna tell them, "Hey man, y'all chill out, we lost whatever," because then they gonna be like, "Well, goddamn, well, fuck you too."
Yeah.
So he gonna keep them, and I agree, he gonna keep them riled up. But I think if they tell him, "Hey,
but they gonna eat their own." What I mean by that is the GO party right now is as weak as it's ever been because it's split.
Right.
Because the party's been hijacked by Trump and his supporters.
Right.
And that's why you see them responding to the Lindsey Grahams like they are, because even Mike Pence, you got to think these are lifetime politicians.
Right.
These aren't people who were just here for a season like Trump. So they have to try to do whatever they can to hold on to their legacy and their positions going forward. Because he done fucked their
legacies
because he didn't fuck it up because they attached themselves to a wagon that was a ship that wasn't really political.
Exactly.
It was a one man's ego trip
Yep.
for 4 years that we had to navigate around.
And he had them lying. People that probably ain't never lied for the sake of their job before. They had to lie because he's allowed to get fired.
Because you've been attached. And so now,
Right.
But that's the scary part for them because now they're trying to crawl back to the GOP party after tying themselves to him for 4 years. And now his supporter like, nah, motherfucker.
Keep that shit over
You
there.
had promises.
Keep that shit
You was fucking with us for 4 years, but now you trying to get off the boat.
Right.
Nah, motherfucker, you ain't holding up your end
Stay
of
over
the
there.
deal.
Keep your ass over there.
I don't think, like, what we saw this week, he has created a lane, man, where he can keep that rhetoric up and it's going to keep building and it's going to keep building. They need to make sure that they apply pressure where he cannot apply. They can apply
Right.
for presidency in
I
2024.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I want.
That's why they're trying to impeach him.
Yeah,
But so it would
right,
take
right,
away his
yeah.
ability to be able to run in
he won't be able to
2024.
run again.
Okay.
That's why they're
But do you
trying
think Mike
to,
Pence
but
gonna
they're
do
not
that?
going to
Pence
be
ain't
able
gonna
Man,
do
to.
Pence ain't gonna do that
Pence ain't gonna
because
do that.
end of the day, and shout out to my boy G Dub. He immediately came
Who
through.
is G-Dub?
Who's G-Dub?
G Dub Bush, baby. My guy. That's my
Nigga,
guy,
Trump made
man.
George Bush look like
Man,
goddamn
that's
Malcolm.
He look like
Man,
a nigga we might
He
invite.
made that nigga look like
We
Listen,
might
Malcolm.
make you a plate. We won't invite you to the barbecue. We might make you a plate and drop it off at the crib.
We'll make you
Screw
pay.
that.
You can pick up your plate, my nigga.
Trump, listen, if it wasn't for Kanye doing that bipolar rhetoric,
Oh shit.
he wouldn't have had a bad name in the culture, man. Bush.
Nah, the thing about it is, Joe, you got to think. I feel like
I
you
agree.
giving
I
Trump-
agree, knowledge. I
but-
agree with
But
that.
I feel like you're giving Kanye too much credit because Kanye just put the bow on it. But the
Yeah.
optics of Katrina, and like,
Right.
no, I'm
You're right.
being
And
real.
I don't want to get into that, but I just want to acknowledge
But
him.
that's a good point, though.
But
That's
the
a good
thing is,
point.
because you got to think, Bush had some shit happen while he was in office.
Mhm.
Not between 9/11,
9/11 and Katrina. Yeah.
Katrina, like,
Yeah.
it's as though you had two sides that was pissed off at you, bro.
Right.
And I think as though the war on terror, you got to think a lot of bodies were killed in front of the news because, of course, I always say every president is responsible for some type of mass murder,
Right.
even if it's not newsworthy.
Yeah.
But we saw this from an optic perspective, and a lot of people felt that was a personal battle
It was.
because of
That
his
was a money
dad, the
battle.
attempted,
Well,
attempted,
The attempt to take over.
and then the fact that he tried to kill his dad.
Yep.
So a lot of people felt as though this was a personal
I
battle
think it was.
against terrorism, and he just used 9/11 to equip and justify the fight and taking over the Middle East. But with George W. Bush, he still allowed himself to have presidential decorum. He wasn't the sharpest tool in the bunch, but he had presidential decorum. He wasn't polarizing in his rhetoric.
Yeah, and he didn't try to divide. He didn't divide.
You know when they
country.
say you got to respect the position.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. When you go in corporate America, they're like, you may not respect that person. You got to respect the position.
Yeah, I get that.
He respected the role that he was in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and one thing that I always said about him was, and if you read a few of his articles and books about him, dude was trying to integrate a lot of people. He was more like, hey, I'm going to put this person, I'm not the smartest person, but I'm going to put this person.
I don't think George Bush had a race.
But what happened was the people that he put in those roles had personal agendas, and you saw the results of it. They knew his fuel, and you're right about, hey, I need to kill Saddam Hussein because of my daddy. I want to prove it to my daddy. But they went about it the wrong way. They was like, yeah, you can do it by this way. He was like, you sure? You sure? And he was like, well, I trust you. Well, I guess that's how we got to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But what I want to just point on how he immediately stepped in and said, hey, guys, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm over here eating my barbecue and my burnt ends and I got my golf.
Acting like I'm a rancher.
But this shit right here,
yeah,
I don't condone.
Yeah. I don't think George Bush was racist.
No, exactly. And that was just right. Go back to what he said about Ye.
Yeah.
No.
He
I think Kanye reacted off emotion. My bad. So
he did react. But I think any black celebrity that was working, you got to think he was at a telethon where we were trying to raise money for the fight, and while we were still seeing visuals of people stuck on top of bridges,
right.
American citizens,
right.
So
and the fucking news was calling them refugees. My bad.
No, that ties to everything because at the end of the day, I remember 2005. That was my freshman year of college, and the girl I was dating at the time was a student at Dillard, so she was in it. Like I remember her leaving and being stuck in traffic for 16 hours trying to get home to Houston. I remember her trying to find a school to go to where they were just taking in anyone who was misplaced. But what happened was it showed you, I feel as though Americans sometimes have to see shit to realize that you aren't above real shit happening.
I agree.
And like this week is another eye-opening experience as though shit ain't sweet over here. You get what I mean? Because that kind of I feel even if it didn't impact us as a culture, it let us know the power of some people's bias. Because you aren't fighting for anything that has left you voiceless. What I mean by that is a lot of the fights we've had is because we've had injustices. A lot of the fights the gay rights communities had is because they've had injustices.
Thank you.
We saw a fight this week of privilege.
Yep.
And it wasn't just white privilege, it was democratic privilege.
Sore loss.
Because that's the danger in the gray line of having a democratic.
Boy, did you write that as a scripture somewhere, boy? You
that shit was real talk. That nigga there, boy, you better trademark that comment, nigga.
Because I was just sitting there thinking about it, and I'm like,
real shit,
where does the goal come from? And it comes from the empowerment of Americans as a citizens. Because if we go outside of America's borders, the way the response to us is so polarizing based on where you are. And that's because a lot of times people are getting a small view and spectrum into the American culture. You see the highlights. So imagine if we only encaptured what goes on in Mexico based off of Narcos.
Good point.
You get what I'm saying?
Good point.
It's a whole spectrum of a population that's unrepresented or misrepresented because the global view is different than the internal view. And that's why you are not a black American or a white American when you go to France.
You're just an American.
You are an American.
Yep. Shit, go to Cancun.
But that's too close.
Yeah,
Cancun, but what I'm saying, I'm trying to tell you some stuff from a global perspective because it's shit like their views are based off of political.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm saying, like, now when you go to Cancun now, that's how they see us.
But the reason I say is so Cancun is a tourist, so I feel as though Cancun is being a bordered country of America. They already know.
So you talking about that? You got to go into fucking Juarez.
Go across the street, across the ocean,
right.
Because at the end of the day, they have no ties to us outside of
gotcha.
In Cancun, they have to deal. In Mexico, they deal with us like that's the number. That's one of the number one tourist spots for Americans.
Right.
Yeah.
So they deal with us on a different level than those over there because we have to interact in there. Where there's no resorts in Paris. When you are in Paris, you are living amongst the normal, the regular citizens.
French, okay.
Like when you go to Jamaica or Cancun, a lot of times you are enveloped in a resort. So you kind of
this motherfucker might be from Miami.
View. You get what I'm saying? That's why it was rewarding to walk around Cape Town and Johannesburg because it's one person that will take a picture with you just because you lived in American soil. You are the American dream in their eyes. It's another person that looks at you as an arrogant American.
Right. Lazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lazy.
Yeah.
Not capturing the opportunities. It's a polarizing view based off of how that person is viewed us from a television. And so that's why I always say, be careful what we wish for as Americans. It's like, we wanted to see all this smoke and them fight amongst themselves, but at the end of the day, it's a gray line because it ain't going to be a battle between Blue Lives Matter and Trump supporters or the police and Trump supporters. It's going to be a battle of American culture.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part.
Another
if we keep, because we're going to have to fight on one side. If you are under the age of 32, you're going to be fighting on one side or the other if we get to a civil war.
Yeah.
You just dropped bars, and I hope our listeners hear this, man. We can't get to that point. And I'm telling you, we get to that point, the global allies and enemies, that's what they want to see. They getting their popcorn ready to see that. Because we have one constitutional right that they don't have.
It's like seeing the Cowboys lose.
The right.
No, real talk. Seeing America lose is like seeing the Cowboys lose.
The right to bear arms.
That was still a shot, by the way.
The right to bear arms.
Well, yeah.
I'm telling you this, guys. They know they can't battle us because of that one constitutional right. Because think about, I'm going to tell you this, China, and I'm going to tell you this, Russia.
Speak to him.
Bring your ass directly. Bring your ass up the Mississippi River to Arkansas River. It's gonna be a lot of motherfuckers with some AR-15s that y'all ain't gonna get there.
But they fighting with bombs. Like they go get y'all. They got a satellite set every coast.
We good.
Every coastal city. I know they got the.
Listen. It's gonna come down to infantry.
Right
at the end of the day, listen. If that's the case, why we ain't won a war over drones yet? It never will happen. You gotta have an infantry.
Man, you know,
you gotta go in there.
I just always say never a lot until 2020. Like,
no shit.
Because the thing about it is, I stopped taking shit for granted. You know what I'm saying? Like, you remember how when Pearl Harbor, when you heard about Pearl Harbor, and you was like, damn, them motherfuckers blew up a goddamn ship in Hawaii off the coast, a naval ship. Oh, we had never seen no shit like that. Then 9/11 happened.
Yeah, 9/11 happened.
You like, damn, that's. I don't think it'll get more realer than that. You get what I'm saying?
Katrina
happened.
That mass death. You like,
and you see the mass deaths of blacks versus whites, and you like, damn, they fucking us over. Yeah. We didn't know we were in the low income areas is sit like a fishbowl.
Mm-hmm. And like when people say, damn, I can't imagine the 50s watching somebody hang from a tree. Well, I think George Floyd was the same thing. We watched him die in front of us.
So that's why it's like
damn,
the packaging is different.
I get it. Yeah.
But a lot of this shit you're seeing, the same, like we just saw domestic terrorism. And you got to think, we a lot of people were laughing at it. I ain't gonna lie, I was. This shit, social.
When I seen the motherfucker in there dressed like Braveheart, I said, these motherfuckers don't win.
Black Twitter showed out, and I love us because of this shit, because we will make light of anything.
And it didn't have nothing to do with us.
But when you sit down and kind of think about it, that shows you how numb we are. Mm-hmm. Motherfuckers really took over the goddamn Capitol, the building that represents American democracy.
They took over.
A group of motherfuckers took it over. Yeah.
And they were smiling through the glass.
Smiling.
All the police that had them guns drawn right on them, they looked through the glass smiling.
And got to go home.
We're going to get in there.
Even though they arrested some of them, they got to get back on a plane.
Yeah.
And take their ass back to where they came from.
And like you say, even though they may get picked up later, they was able to go home.
They They took over.
We can't even get pulled over by the police.
They took over the Capitol.
That's crazy.
The building that stands for American democracy, not the White House, the Capitol, where our highest officers meet.
Yeah.
Sitting in their offices.
They had the memes talking about Craig and Day was security.
Like, bruh. And that's what that did, because when you take away the comedy of it, you kind of sit down, you be like, oh shit.
Yeah, after they ain't funny no more, you like, fuck. When,
and if they can
when
take over the Capitol,
yeah.
what else can these motherfuckers take over?
No shit.
And then what scared me and what I'm glad didn't happen was the copycats. Because they tried to start it in LA. You know, they tried to kind of congregate and get a large number of the supporters so they can kind of do a run in other major metropolitan areas. Mm-hmm. That's what I was kind of holding out and hoping didn't happen.
Yeah.
Is that it was copycat mentality because I didn't realize how many people were out there until I started seeing the bird eye views.
Aerial views.
I'm like, them motherfuckers are
thousands of them motherfuckers.
Hundreds of thousands, if not. They say, and that's what scares me because at the next 4 years, those are a rogue group. Mm-hmm. And now that they are starting to come under the eye of the American media and the American people who were basically putting them and ostracizing them as this one island of people, what happens is your bias increases once somebody kind of corners you as you are who you are. Mm. We don't fuck with y'all.
Right.
Once somebody says you are a skinhead, once you get that Nazi symbol tattooed on you, or once you have visual evidence of you being in a racist view, you are now an island because you have people that look like you that don't fuck with you, and of course you have your normal opposition.
Yeah.
Antoine,
and some that do really fuck with you, but they're not gonna let you know it all. But or their friends know.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
What disappointed me about all this, man, and what disappointed me, and this is just from a human race, they was tactical and strategic through the whole end to end of this. If you would have read, you know there was people, it was a lot of people on the plane. Like, it was people from Texas. Like they said, the plane that day, it was the airlines from Texas to DC, it was a lot of Trump supporters. What bothered me, from a culture is they already know we predictive. It's almost like that's why when you saw the photo and they were standing up there like that, because they said, Black Lives Matter's coming tomorrow, and the only thing they're gonna do is holler and shoot.
No, like it kind of ties to what you were saying. It's a video that went viral. It was the pilot. It was a bunch of Trump supporters yelling USA, USA
on the
plane. And he was like, "We are flying from DC to California." It was a cross country flight. He was like, "I will drop you all in Kansas." Like, if you guys don't sit down and just hush.
Because how the fuck can you be chatting USA, but then you go tear up one
He
of
like, I will drop you motherfuckers off in the middle of this bitch. You get what I'm saying? Like, I will drop, like your mama said, I will turn this motherfucker around. Shut the fuck up.
With all that shit.
Hush with all that. That's pretty much what he told them in the most professional way he could. I will drop this bitch off in Kansas. Topeka. Not even Kansas City. Topeka.
The middle of the U.S. Right in the heart of the United States.
And y'all niggas figure it out from there.
How could you be on there chanting USA and then you finna go tear up the U.S. Capitol? Like,
but Andrew Schultz said some real shit. He was like, them niggas ain't even do a good job of the takeover.
They didn't.
You just got photo ops.
They didn't.
Like you saw the video, you saw the picture of the chick who had her damn weed pen, and she was smoking up weed pen at somebody's desk, and she calling herself from that person. No.
White privilege at its finest.
But it's like you ain't even doing shit. You got up in here.
You finna go to federal prison.
Yeah.
Just to
call your friend.
Yeah.
Like, what did they? Okay, my thing is, what did they think was gonna happen as a result?
I think that they didn't think that far. They didn't think they was gonna get through the door. Once you got there, it's like, oh shit.
What do we do now?
But this, my wife don't like me saying this, and I told you the origin. And hey, the origin came, and I've been telling this. White niggas.
Niggas come in all colors.
Hey, yeah.
Listen,
the negative was goddamn clear as fuck.
My wife was like, what you mean? I grew up around them. You come to the AR, goddamn.
It's a lot of white niggas.
Man, them hillbillies.
With a lot of them white niggas, boy.
Crackers.
They will fight.
Crackers. Like you saw, like I told you the video of the white man saying, goddamn crackers. because he's probably an East Coast white.
They think
he
they
live in
up
the Brownstown. So
uppity.
I know he has some privilege. He's well off. So to these motherfuckers are the ones that he don't fuck with. The rednecks, the ones that dip and spit the shit anywhere. Like them the ones he like, you goddamn crackers. The conviction.
I don't fuck with some of us.
Like, that's exactly how it is, bro.
And serious is with this though, guys. when we start distinguishing our culture and racism, listen. One thing we don't really look at is personality traits. Personality traits. Do you know? Like right now, I'm saying this though, D-boy. Are you really mad? And I'm just using an example. Are you really mad because a white person got a promotion? And or a white person is over talking you, or it's more his personality in the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like not really necessarily the promotion, but more of like you in a setting, right? And it's 3 white men, and it's maybe you and a black woman, right?
Okay.
A lot of times, them white men are gonna be more. They're gonna have their driving personality. They're gonna be talking, and then over talking and over talking. But what's the difference between this talking motherfucker over here he has a driving personality and he know how to lead. You know what I'm saying? Right. We feel more comfortable because he one of us, but sometimes that can be annoying too.
It can be.
You know what I'm saying? And I think I've been saying this a lot, man. If you really, really racist, you really got a mental problem. You cannot if you don't like nobody because of the color of their skin.
Well, I don't think you have a mental problem because to me racism is taught. That shit is not like mental problem. You're born with a mental problem, or you may have had an accident and got hit in the head too hard, and not making no joke. I'm just saying maybe, but as far as a racist person being mentally challenged, no, I don't think because again racism is taught. So I don't think you have a mental issue if you're a racist.
Okay, did you see the guy that they arrested, the West Virginian that they arrested? His grandma went to the camera.
Which way? But them hillbillies. That's where hillbillies come from.
She
West
said,
Virginia.
I don't have a problem with him inciting the race riot.
That's my baby.
But now West Virginia is a very unique state because they do. I ain't gonna say unique. And not to shit on the good citizens of West Virginia. That's the heroin capital. That's not meth
capital of the world.
That is the meth capital of the world. They do a lot of incest in West Virginia. A lot. They have those hillbillies.
I don't think we got a West Virginia.
So no. I mean, and again, I'm not saying everybody. And big shout out to all the good citizens of West Virginia. But I say that to say this.
Shout out to the niggas out there.
I say that to say this.
Randy
Grandma didn't surprise me with that. He said Randy Moss. Shout out to.
You heard his twang, so that lets you know what they say.
Randy Moss is country.
But yeah, my bad, man.
No, you good. But no, let's going back to what you saying as far as like, if a white dude, brown dude, black dude, whatever, get promoted over me and I feel like I deserve the job more, I ain't going to be salty towards that person.
That was a bad statement because that is corporate racism. My whole point was like, when you're in a setting, sometimes you'll be in a setting, right? Mm-hmm. And, I've noticed where I first thought I'm not gonna say that. Sometimes you would think that you're upset because this person is over talking because you think you white, you can over talk me. Where in actuality, it's just his personality trait that he's an asshole or she's an asshole.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you have to take that deep breath, think because there's a lot of assholes out here. Is what I'm getting at. Now it is corporate racism. It is. And what happens is, and this is what happens in this is why you have to distinguish this. You would get a whole lot of personality traits. You're like, I like him because we fit. Or I like him, we fit. Next thing you know, you keep fitting people that's like you, and you keep moving up people that's just like you. Mm-hmm. And that's where the racism comes in, because when you look around, all of you guys are one color, and all you guys have the same personality trait, and that's not diversity or inclusion.
Well, I look at it different in some cases because I've been in some corporate settings to where the best person didn't get promoted because the manager who was doing the promoting was threatened by that person. Because they knew, okay, if I put them right up under me, they really gonna shine. And to my managers, when they seeing this motherfucker shining because there's a lot of, how many times you been in a corporate setting where you have a manager and they dictate everybody else up under them and they doing more work than the manager do. Yeah. So if their bosses see, okay, this dude is shining, like managers hold people back a lot, talented people back a lot because they don't want to lose their spot. And a lot of times, and I will say this with a straight face, and I don't give a fuck who get offended by it, I have had some of my worst motherfucking managers look like me. As far as my process goes, as far as
that's a whole
keeping me. That's all, and
that right there.
Because
that's real talk.
Listen, we talk about that. We finna step on some feelings.
I've seen so many black managers shit on other black employees.
Interracial.
Oh my
God!
Like race, interracial reactions and bias and prejudice is a real thing.
Yes,
because at the end of the day, the person that is the token or the one that made it through that spectrum can be the one that is the least aligned, the least receptive, because they want to because they feel as though, and I hate, and it kind of ties to the rewarding part, but the scary part of what we saw this week, because we haven't had real moments where we could be the spectator.
Boy, say that shit for the people in the back. You ain't lying. For the first time, it shit ain't got nothing to do with it.
Because a lot of times we are the one that had to deal with some pain to have a reaction like this.
Right.
So we have to tie to it, whether it was a police shooting, an injustice, a verdict that didn't go our way, a bill that didn't go our way.
When they comparing this to BLM.
Because at the end of the day, the motivation behind it is different.
Right.
And what really bothers me is there's a split always between races because your experience is different. It kind of ties to what Niles was speaking about is why he doesn't watch Men of Society.
Right.
But that's one of our favorite movies because the thing is his trauma
hits him
ties to a different place.
Right.
So I always say for every Clarence Thomas, the person that felt like he had to but the first he had to lighten his skin from an inside perspective, meaning like I'm still dark on the outside.
Right.
But my beliefs are as white as bread.
White as a motherfucker.
Because I have to dim down my allegiance to my people if I want to get to the highest court in the land. That's how he felt.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's dope to see the wins like the mayor of Baltimore, someone that is actually of the culture, because you have people that have been groomed to take over and work within a white world.
Right.
Meaning they have been told to tone down their blackness. They have been told to tone down their urban connections in order to make real, advancements in their career or in their life. So that's why it's a key thing, man. And I know this has been a longer show for us, but what I'm saying is because this, it's hard to kind of just have a short conversation on this. This goes deep, bro.
But this is a part when I talk about how I feel so free.
Yeah.
Like I feel free. Like it may be superficial. I feel free because I feel that you're gonna accept my diction.
Yeah, I feel.
I don't have to. I don't have to enunciate my words in European language no more.
Right.
No more.
My vernacular doesn't have to tie to yours.
Because y'all got to think about these last 4 years have been fucking exhausting.
Man,
it's like
it has.
Damn.
But I think that's why it's so rewarding when you see the efforts that happened when we went out, like Georgia's voting.
Man, shout out to Stacey.
Shout out to her.
Stacey Abrams.
Shout out to her queen.
Fuck that coach that got fired from Tennessee for calling
Tennessee, Chattanooga, what to think about it. But that's why. But we're learning to fight the right way. I always say ain't no right and wrong way, but I mean to use true power.
That's real shit.
It's because she could have, went back to her hole after she lost the election for governor and really got fucked over. But what happened is she was like, how can I change the culture and the system from within?
Change the whole state blue.
And so that shows you the power of having real interaction and real support.
Yeah.
But that's why I welcomed it's gonna sound crazy. I welcome Donald Trump these last 4 years because what it did is it made us uncomfortable as a people. Because you gotta think.
That's real. That's
like
real.
we were kind of taking shit for granted.
That's real.
Because even though you had the Mike Browns, situations happen, still like
and again, source
life
not to
good.
cut you, I think whenever Obama got in, we thought
we had the sigh of relief.
we thought like, okay, shit, we could just fall back.
No,
But the Republicans still had the Senate.
because we
So I think this time around,
we was like, we gotta
vote again. We gotta vote again.
So we got
this.
wiser. Like,
So we got
okay,
two
we can't
wins.
just drop our efforts after the presidential election.
Exactly.
I got my wish though. I'm just not happy y'all in. Goddamn it!
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, I need some. I need some shit. I need some of these student loans. Go away.
But knowledge, I will
And
tell you this.
I need some business asset loans so I
No.
can
Give
get
my
some
40
shit off
acres
of
in a
it.
mill, motherfucker.
Like, goddamn it, I'm be real with you because
Reparation.
I'll be honest with you. Another thing I want to tell y'all this, and I want to tell my people this, and I don't give a fuck what y'all think about what I'm saying because we in Dallas.
Shit, keep it
We-
unspoken, my nigga.
We down here. We know real estate. We know mortgage. All three of y'all motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know it. Y'all motherfuckers around here hollering HBCUs. These white people laughing at y'all motherfucking asses
Wait till that.
Elaborate.
because long time ago, long time ago,
That shit nigga sound like Mudbone.
when y'all integrated into the state system, God damn it, that's the reason why y'all can't get no Jeff Bezos monies when they dominate
Prairie View.
to
Texas
HBCUs.
A&M.
University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, y'all was branch normal, HBCU that sold all y'all acquisitions and integrated
To
y'all
get into
for a
the
check.
satellite
For a check.
for
Y'all
University of
sold y'all
Arkansas.
check
Yeah.
to get into a UA system to protect everything that y'all wanted, y'all core values. Let's use that word, core
More
values.
values.
Y'all protected it. So when y'all say y'all from an HBCU, no motherfucker, y'all from a U of A
But
system.
but you have to think though, what is the motivation behind of why they had to make those?
Because they was in an economic experience. It's just
Exactly. So
capitalism.
it
It's capitalism
ties
101.
back to the position that they put us in. It's the same thing as you remember. White flight is the one that kind of led us to have open real estate in the inner city, in the urban areas. White flight led to the suburbs.
What is white flight?
When
deal?
whites left, Compton, when they left the inner city and moved to the suburbs because blacks were moving in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so what happened is once they find the value in it, the system as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
they find the value in whatever we have cultivated because we made the inner city cool. We took what y'all gave us. Because if you think about it, the inner city ties is closely to the fabric of a city. So
Yes,
we made it cool. And so what happened is you're seeing it in gentrification. It's like, I want that back. You have to look at it from a systematic point. The reason the HBCUs came because they didn't want us dealing with their higher learning institutions. So they gave us they gave us land and y'all go and build Tuskegee up. Y'all go and build up Howard. Howard was founded by a white man. He's a West Point grad.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
A lot of the
You know
black
what I'm saying?
colleges
So-
are founded.
I know that.
At the end of the day, now, if you went to Howard in 05, you were in the hood.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to Howard, you are in a gentrified area.
Yeah.
Yep. And same thing about University of Arkansas. Like the enrollment is not
Shout out
black
to the
anymore.
Razorback.
It's so,
Yeah. The shout out to them.
You know my baby went there, man.
Yeah, but I'm a LSU
It's my
baby.
baby.
but
girl.
it just ties to as though like I get what you're saying, but it was like more of like I had to. It's like I left you on an island.
Mhm.
Either I can leave you on the island and you try to fend for yourself, but you're not getting the alumni.
They weren't getting. I get it. But no. But what happened was I think it. Let me go back. I think when you watch this that 30 for 30 or that 60 for 60 with ESPN, what happened was they didn't see, and it go back to what the fuck I was talking about on how they strategically got into the Capitol. They didn't see the play. Black people, we have to stop. Frederick Douglass said it the same. Frederick Douglass, one of our ancestors, said it the same thing. If you want to hide something, it's in a book. We have to put the fat on the brain, man,
Yeah,
because
knowledge is
they
power,
didn't.
brother.
They didn't see the play. They didn't see the play because at the same time that we sold to U of A, Branch Normal was balling with athletes, but they didn't see the bigger play.
But do you know how
University of Alabama
think,
got you look Alabama.
how small of a spectrum athletics is when in the whole
At that
picture,
time, I get you.
You know, it wasn't $1 billion, cable network deals.
You have to embrace, and I always go back to this guy, W.E.B. Du Bois. Him and George Washington Carver used to battle and battle and battle.
They were like the Malcolm X, Martin
Luther
King
King
of higher
W.E.B. Du
learning.
Bois was like, I'm half white. Fuck them niggas. He was like, fuck that. He said, we need to embrace our own. We need to idolize our own.
Absolutely.
We need where George Washington Carver was like, and I think we living in W.E.B. Du Bois era now.
Yeah.
Because it's just so disruptive now.
Yeah.
But Judge Washington Carver was like, man, why don't we just go to work and prove ourselves?
Booker T. Washington walked us. Booker T. Washington walked us to the steps. What I mean by that is like, how can we integrate ourselves into higher learning? Play nice. But once you get to the steps, you knock on the door like Tupac said. At first, the chants, hey, let us in. We're hungry, and then you don't let us in.
We start beating.
We start beating the wall. Hey, let us in. We fucking starving.
We starving now.
Then the third time, we gonna tear that bitch down.
Kicking the doors in.
And I think that's where we are now. It's like, okay, Booker T. Washington walked us to the steps. He walked us to the door. Martin Luther King walked us to the steps.
Mm-hmm.
They walked us to the door. It's like you had to have a peaceful integration.
And shout out to Obama on that same strategy.
Yeah, he walked us to the steps.
He's integrated. This whole administration is Obama.
No, but I feel as though that's why I was gonna say you walked us to the steps. Now you're at the steps.
What you gonna do?
Now you got to go back to the plan, to the playbook. And you got to go back to the drawing board and figure out, okay, how can we get in here and actually get a seat? Because they're going to walk outside and it's like a lottery. Oh, you can come in.
Yeah.
Oh, you can come in. Y'all out there?
Like
no,
Club
y'all can
54.
came in.
Y'all look.
But when they allow that 5 or 6 come in, it might be 1 or 2 that are going to come in.
Stupid.
It might be 1 or 2 that'll come outside and be like, hey, sneak you through the door. Or sneak you through the back door, or sneak you through the window. But it might be 3 in there that fuck them niggas. But turn their back on you. So that's the scary part is who are they equipping with the authority and the power?
But what's one thing that have we learned, which is the number one disruptive in this whole world, IT?
What's that?
You have to look at the big picture and you have to look at the granular stuff. What Antoine just talked about was the granular stuff. We get into the front door, but the big picture is, like he said, we gotta have that plan and that playbook once we get in.
How we picking the lock?
What we gonna
how
do
we gonna pick the lock?
Get in there?
Because
how we picking the lock?
If we can't knock on that door, how the fuck we still gonna get in?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Or do we got somebody already in that's gonna get that back door?
They playing lookout.
Yeah.
Are they playing lookout in on the inside?
And going back to the bullshit ass boss in corporate America, are you really gonna feed like the niggas that do get in there? Are you gonna come, the ones who couldn't make it in? Are you gonna come back out and tell us what's really going on in this motherfucker? Or you gonna be like, nah, I made it in. I ain't telling you.
Did I ever tell y'all the story when I was going through that case when I was in jail with the wrong identity?
Yeah. You briefly talked about it.
Well, when I was in the county for those 5 days, they had 12 days to come get me. So I was going to go over my vacation period. I felt so at some point I had to notify my job that I'm in jail. I have to, you know what I mean. And that is where the power of having somebody that looks but also relates to you from a personal perspective and as your superior was clutch. Shout out to Lloyd. Lloyd Thomas, man, he was my boss at the time. I called him, collect call from a goddamn, county jail in Dallas. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm in jail. This is what happened. That could have went 2 ways.
Yep.
At that time, he did not look at himself as my superior, as my boss. He looked at himself as a peer of mine, as a black man.
Right.
He was like, Twan. He ain't even call me my first. He's like, Twan, you do whatever you got to do to get up out of there. Your job is safe.
Yeah, that's real
Just
shit.
get up out of there.
Because he knew you wasn't that.
Because he knew my character.
That type of nigga. Yeah, exactly.
But he was able to speak to me because he knows what we deal with.
Right.
From a day to day. At any time, it could be your time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the power of having people that relate to your struggle because all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
You ain't like, all blood ain't shit.
At that time, I had the right person in place to act as my ally and my voice.
Yeah.
And he might not be here when he say he gonna be here, but he's safe.
Right.
do you understand the weight that took off of me at that point in time? To know that once I get out of here, I can still support myself. You was gonna
get out of this shit,
right? Yeah. But I can still support myself during the fight.
Yeah,
and just that small avenue of hope and light took a lot of stress off me. Yeah. And that's the importance of us keeping the same energy when we make advancements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
don't turn your back. If you are that one in your family that is able to go into the high Ivy League school or able to get the full ride, don't turn your back on those who are part of your journey.
Because I tell people all the time, as quick as God bless you with it, hold on. I tell people all the time, as quick as God bless you with it, he could take it right back from you, bro.
And let me take that shit down to a notch. Nigga, if you are the breadwinner out the family, don't come with this motherfucking strategy of, see you when I get to the top. Keep going to the mud. Because it's in the scripture, man. The more who gives fruitfully is more who's gonna receive.
Absolutely, because you ain't always been the breadwinner.
You cannot receive anything with a fist clenched
like this.
You ain't always been the breadwinner. You seen your mama, uncles, and them work 2-3 jobs until you made it to the league or whatever. So you
shout out to Jeff
shit
Dreams. Antoine said, we gotta understand that when we get abundance to give back. He said, bro, we here now, bro.
Yeah, we here.
We here now, bro.
We here now. What you
we
gonna
here.
do? Yeah,
man, and dog, that's why I was anxious to get in here, man. This is I feel like this is the perfect show to start off the year, bro, because it puts things in perspective for us all. You know, we've had a lot of time these last 2-3 weeks to just take in.
And
man.
I could generally say I feel like a weight has been lifted. Now that this clown is about to get out of office,
I
feel like a weight.
We still got work.
But I get what he's. At the end of the day, shout out to Blockzilla.
Yeah.
He said you have to start accepting the small victories.
Yeah, man.
You have to take it one. Because at the end of the day, the first thing you had to do was remove him from the picture.
That was the first
president.
I'm not saying.
I'm not saying
we done made nigga. We made it.
But you couldn't really make advancement with him in office.
Imagine 4 more years of that shit.
You know what? You're right.
Imagine 4 more years of that shit.
Then the second part is now you have to take away control of the house. In the Senate.
And we did that.
Okay, boom. So it's like it has to be intervals.
In the time vote.
You can't run to the top. You have to, it's like getting to state. You got to win first round.
Shout out to the talented 10.
It's like winning state. You gotta get through the first round.
You gotta get through the first round, baby.
Man, and so that's why I just want us to take this, but stay locked in.
Hell yeah.
Not just these, but your local elections. We keep saying it. Your stateside elections, you have to stay locked in, man. And that's why, I'm glad that we were able to touch base. And shout out to Blockzilla for putting a lot of things in perspective to us.
Man, that guy.
Because he dropped gems on gems to kind of, and I feel as though that is what we need to kind of, go into the next part of the year. Mm-hmm. Man, before we got out of here, we want to first, say shout out to all of our listeners that have been rocking with us.
Shout out Flimarachi,
man.
Yeah,
shout out to Flimarachi.
Yeah, we got something new popping that y'all just gotta get your push notifications on our YouTube page.
Let me just tie down to what's coming up. So this next Sunday on the 17th, we're celebrating our 100th episode.
Ooh-wee.
Man, shout out to my man DJ Master Jeffrey.
God is good.
We will be doing our live show from 3 to 4 at Harlow on Sunday. We've got the confirmation. If you are not doing anything and you've been rocking with us this long, come and pop out, man, and just rock with us to celebrate the 100th episode.
Bring
man.
your mask.
Bring your mask, man, but also bring the ambiance. Just be ready to kick it with us because, man, it's a journey of being able to maintain content throughout all of this bullshit that's happened the last year.
No shit.
And the fact that we've been able to stay afloat and actually make a lot of progress with our growth as a podcast and as a platform and as a brand as a whole, it's just dope to kind of see it, man. And, we got a lot of big plans for 2021, but it's just at the end of the day, you got to take the small victories and celebrate those too.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, man, if you don't take those small victories in, you might just start feeling like you ain't making inroads and progress.
And you won't appreciate the rewards, brother.
Exactly, man. So, man, before we got here, y'all got any, shout out, any things y'all want to put on the brand?
Yeah, man. Check out our YouTube page. Check out our YouTube page. We gonna start coming with our real hot topics. Like, it's just gonna pop up. Like Flimarachi. I know you guys miss Flim. You know what I'm saying? Flim really predicted this shit.
He really
way
did.
before the pandemic.
Way before.
I swear to God, if
he
y'all
did
go back
say
and
that
listen
shit.
to our episodes. But we will be continually giving you hot content, hot topics during the week.
We'll be better with posting.
Like we there, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Growing pains, man. It ain't number growing pains, brother.
Guys, ladies, we got merch coming that y'all gonna really love. You know what I'm saying? So just be on the lookout on that. But hey, man, keep rocking with us. I appreciate you guys. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you guys just rocking with us, man. We in the culture.
Yeah.
We here. And whoever is out here listening to us outside of Dallas, y'all, we survived the pandemic,
man. Hey, tap in. No, but honestly, also, man, we appreciate the we appreciate the shout outs. We appreciate those who rock with us, man. But I want to give a special shout out, man. Cause this brother hollers at me a lot, man. My boy Godfrey Taylor McKinney, dude. He hits me up a lot on Facebook, and the support and the words that he's spoken to, you know, me and us as a brand.
Yeah.
It's like those are the people that keep us going, man. You know, even if we ain't, you know, getting droves of fans at any time, if somebody's supporting and rocking with us, man, we appreciate it. Absolutely. So shout out to my man, Godfrey Taylor McKinney, man. Keep walking with us, keep striving, and keep achieving. Spider, you know, shout out to the support all these years, man. In 2021, man, we going up this year.
Hell yeah.
So before we get out of here, I just want to say, man, y'all keep achieving, y'all keep striving. In the words of my boy Knowledge. And Spider, go on, give us some feel-good tune before we get out of here, man.
That Spanish shit.